So this is about a small charity that inspired me. I hope it inspires you. The person on the right is called Julie Greenbaum. I had a quick chat with her last week on the phone. She lives in Vancouver. She's there with her mum, Joan. In 2006, Joan discovered she had ovarian cancer. Very difficult. 3.5 years went by. In 2009, the last of a series of difficult things she had to do was a lung biopsy. And if you are fortunate enough not to know what a lung biopsy is, the gist is, I gather, in order to find out whether the cancer has spread to your lungs, they insert a tube in through your nose, down through your throat, down then somehow into your lungs to then capture some tissue all the way out again. It's even more painful than it sounds, not least because of the friction and the kind of the bulk, but also because it makes it really difficult to breathe. No anesthetic, as I understand it. At the end of the procedure, the ordeal, apparently what Julie says is that her mother was eyes closed. A cheerful nurse came in and said, "Hey, how are you doing?" And she slowly opened her eyes, Joan, and she said, "How am I doing? It's a walk in the park. Fuck cancer." And in that moment, they saw more anger in their mother, more feistiness, more venom than they had ever seen in their life. And the moment stuck with them. January 2010, she passed away. Maybe for a range of reasons, but probably one of the reasons why they did what they did, Joan and her father, was they set up a charity. They, maybe to cope with some of the negative stuff that was going on for them, but what they found was, when they were really honest and analysed it, there weren't many charities which truly were positioned for young adults. Many fabulous brands which attract middle-aged people, but how many have a freshness and a kind of a feistiness that would connect with young people? So what they did is they set up a charity and they called it Fuck Cancer. Thank you, AJ, for just sensitizing everyone. So there's a bunch of reasons why I love this and I'm inspired by this. I'll come on to those in a moment. But top line, it's a tiny charity. They're 4 years old. They're still finding their way, but they're already doing great work. The gist of how they make money is they put on really big events for young adults. Many of the people who come have had cancer, or they're friends with someone who has had cancer, and this is a way for young people to get involved in the fight against cancer and find kindred spirits and solidarity. An interesting and different thing is you can't just buy a ticket. If you want to come, you have to go onto the website, buy a Fuck Cancer t-shirt, and that costs $25, and then you get the ticket with the t-shirt. So there's one of their events. They've had 19 events to date. Their first one raised $10,000. The largest event was last year in Montreal. 1,500 young people, they got to come. And so what are some things which have inspired me about this? I think the first one is, strictly speaking, it's not even my sort of brand. Would my 72-year-old mother like this charity called Fuck Cancer? I don't think she probably would. There may be some people in the audience for whom Fuck Cancer would not really... I discovered I enjoyed that. I didn't expect to. Okay. They're aware that not everyone will like this. And that is precisely... They've taken action anyway because I think they're not being deliberately offensive. They are absolutely focused like a rhino charging on who their target market are and what appeals to them, what their language patterns are. So some of you might know about Bernard Ross, fabulous fundraising trainer. I was once in a conference, and he was helping someone plan and design a better event. And he asked them if they had any celebrity support for the event. And they said, Alan Tidmarsh. And the 20-somethings fundraisers in the audience sort of giggled at what a naff celebrity that is. And Bernard Ross said, for this event, for you, maybe he's not, but for this event, he's the dream celebrity. And what he did was he got us all, I'm not going to do this to you now, but he got us all to stand up and say, I am not the target market. I am not. Okay, It's stuck in my head for 9 or 10 years, because again and again you'll hear judgments from your colleagues, maybe if you're honest from yourself, about whether something is good or bad messaging. But do you really understand the demographic and the motivations and who the segment is, who it's designed for? There's a big children's charity who their income suffered in the last few years. It's picked up again now, but one of the reasons it suffered is that one of their most famous mailing packs ever, it came to the attention of the spouse of one of the trustees that it was generating complaints. Naturally, she was quite offended by it. So the pack was pulled. Lots of lost income. So, now, I appreciate I'm probably speaking to the converted. Maybe you have a challenge sometimes with some trustees or a fundraising director who is applying their values to your proposition. This reminds me that we have to fight the good fight and understand we cannot appeal to everybody. We have to appeal to the people we're specifically aiming, who are our target market. Use words that just do justice to the emotion. In NLP terms, different words cause us to feel different ways. If I say, I dislike cancer, in fact it peeves me, you will feel one way. If I say, I hate it, you'll feel another way. If I say, fuck cancer, you can't say the words without feeling a certain thing. So I love this charity because even as soon as you look at the website or see the T-shirt, you are already connecting with the words, and words which actually do justice to how you might feel if you've got cancer. And it's one of the key emotions. There are 6 universal emotions that Ekman discovered, and one of them is anger. We shouldn't preach to an emotion we want people to feel. We should understand what they truly feel and use language which connects with that. Symbols are even more powerful than words in many ways. Here are some symbols that causes many people to feel certain things. On their website, there's this symbol all over the place. Again, it's a really neat way of summarizing their key proposition. And the last thing I love about it is it helps us remember who our enemies are. Often people will do more to do with who they engaging anger against who the enemy is of the donor. So one of the best books I read was called One Sentence Persuasion by Blair Warren, and he advises rubbish persuaders try and correct and convince. People who are most good at persuading and influencing, what they seem to do is intrigue and validate. I think fuck cancer validates what other people feel when they experience this horrible disease which destroys lives, destroys families. If you want the full Blair Warren sentence, people will do almost anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. This reminds me that if I'm a fundraiser, it can be all too tempting to talk about our helpline or to talk about our research or whatever that might be. Maybe I'll mention a stat about how many people get cancer, but to truly do justice to who the true enemy is of this beneficiary or this potential donor. It's all too easy to slip to talking about us or even to talking about our vision. Most people are more moved to take action away from motivation, i.e., help take me away from the pain of the enemy, rather than what we would love to think move towards the joy of the noble vision, free from this horrible disease. What's brilliant about this organization is as soon as you glance at it, it connects at a visceral level to what you may feel or hate about the problem, and therefore what it does is it helps you to throw rocks at your enemies. So to conclude, let's all remember, to be thick-skinned, we're not in the business of minimizing complaints. We're in the business of connecting to our target market in ways that connect to them for what they care about. Use the stronger word. Don't talk about, we're trying to minimize social isolation. It's about, let's stop this bitter loneliness because people are cut off from their loved ones. Register of language. And last of all, let's help them throw rocks at their enemies, because ultimately that will get them to take action. My name's Rob Woods. Thank you so much.